Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I don't have anything in mind. I am wearing a dress, by the way. Today I don't have anything in mind, especially what I'm going to do. I just want to have fun with my makeup today, use some things that I really feel like using, some stuff that's recently purchased, some stuff that maybe is a little bit older, and just have a little bit of fun with it. So if you're into that, please keep on watching. Real quick before we get started, I want to thank you so much for clicking on my video. I hope you enjoy it, and if so, please consider subscribing to my channel. I am Cecile, I'm from the Netherlands, I'm 28 years old, and I currently study literary studies in the Netherlands. And I try to upload 3 times a week with makeup related content. Sometimes I upload art, and I would love to have you here. So let's get into it. The primer, I want to go back to an old favorite, which is this Tony Moly egg primer. I think it's actually, yeah, the egg pore primer. This is supposed to be a little bit pore filling. It has a wonderful smell, sort of like lemon cheesecake. It's fantastic. It really makes you very hungry. So this is the texture. It's sort of a very thick, creamy texture. And this is great for over pores, like it says. But I find that it's also great to smooth out dry texture on your face. So I like to use it pretty much everywhere. You do have to spread it out very well. Otherwise your foundation will act a little bit funny on top of it. So I like to use this over here. These are my drier areas. And then I also take a little bit on the forehead with whatever is left on my fingers. I feel like this also really prolongs the wear of my makeup. I want to use one of my Project Pan foundations. I've actually been curious to see how this primer behaves, how this foundation behaves on top of this primer. This is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. I have mine in the shade Snow. And I think the bottle is nearly done, so I'm just trying to get some more use out of it. It is in my Project Pan, as I was saying, but I haven't been using it a lot, because the last couple of times I didn't really like it. So we're going to see how it behaves today on top of the Tony Moly primer. So I'm just using a brush, and I'm going to spread this all over my face. The reason I didn't really like this foundation was that it looked a little bit textured on top of my skin. And it looked a little bit greasy as well. But I feel like a pore smoothing primer can really help with both those issues. I feel like that looks a lot better. This is actually a pretty glowy foundation, or at least an extremely natural looking foundation. But on me it is pretty glowy. So I find that my usual routine, it just doesn't look that good. But I have to say, I love it on top of this primer. Let's see if I can finish this with whatever is left on my brush. I think this is also a foundation that you do not want to use too much of. I think that's a mistake that I often make with this one. So this is what it looks like. I don't hate this at all. I think with this primer underneath it looks a little bit better. It still looks pretty glowy, but it does look a little bit more smooth, and that's the way I like to see it. I still don't think this is the easiest product to spread out, but that's okay. I had time today. For concealer I'm going into my Pat McGrath, because I've been focusing so much on my Project Pan concealer that I actually haven't been using this one too much. And lately I've been going for a little bit more of a natural look, so I like to just keep this concealer underneath my eyes and then do the highlighting thing in the center of my face with whatever is remaining on my brush. Especially with this Pat McGrath concealer, that really works out fine. Recently, when I've been wanting to do a more natural look, somehow it still comes out very glam. And I think that is for at least the part, because of the way I use my concealer. So like this I used a lot less and still the under eye looks very smooth, but the rest of my face still looks pretty natural-ish. And that's fine. So maybe I should just keep an eye on that. For powder I want to use my Dior cushion powder. This is the Forever cushion. I think I mentioned this in one of my recent favorite videos. That I really like this for when I don't want any brightening, but I do want some places to be set a little bit. So that's what I like using it for. As you can see, it really doesn't brighten my concealer, but it doesn't darken it either, so it's fine. A lot of my skin tone powders are actually a little bit too dark for me, and this one isn't. I just powder wherever I feel like I'm a little bit too shiny. And also I'm going to powder my eyelids a little bit because I didn't use an eye primer but a concealer. I really like this packaging too. It feels so luxurious and rich to use this. For bronzer I want to go into something that I really haven't shown too much on my channel, which is this Kiko Milano Mood Boost face palette. This was in the spring collection of this year. And it's this beautiful palette with bronzer, 2 blushes and a highlighter. And I think I want to use the bronzer and the highlighter today, but not the blush. And I have to admit I ignored this a little bit for the past couple of months, even though it is very pretty. And I think the bronzer is very good for me. The shade, I mean, it works for me. So I'm going to use it today again. I did use it yesterday as well. I feel like this bronzer has a little bit of a pinkish undertone. So it's not even that it is that light, because as you can see it is clearly showing. I did really load up the brush though. But it has that undertone that somehow fits very fair skin tones. Because my undertone is not cool, I think it's more neutral. But somehow this still works very well. I have to say, when I used this last night, it was already dark, so I was working with only artificial lights. And it did look a little bit more natural than it does right now. My point about the undertone still stands, but it is quite a harsh bronzer on me. I didn't notice that last night. But it's fine, I'll blend out the edges. Look, that's a lot better. And I'll just go into the highlighter straight away. By the way, the bronzer was called Start Happy and the highlighter is called Go Chic. So I think this one works for me. I really can't remember. Yes, it's a pretty standard champagne color. I do think it's pretty. It's like a champagne with a slight rosy undertone. And it is quite shiny, but not extremely textured. I don't think this is ever going to become a favorite for some reason. But I do like the way it looks. Yeah, that's not too bad. There's something very natural about this color for a highlighter. It is a little bit blingy, but I'm used to having a very gold or very white or very pink highlighter and not very skin toned. I guess that's why I don't feel like I will use it much. But I do really like the blush shades as well, so this is a good palette. I don't think it's available anymore, maybe on sale somewhere. For blush I want to use my crush at the moment, which is the NARS Orgasm on the Beach palette. It's such a shame that this highlighter is a little bit too dark for me, otherwise I would use it even more. But I do already use it quite a lot and mainly for the blushes. So for today as well I'm going into the blushes and I think I'm going into the middle shade, which is called Orgasm. I usually use the more apricot shade, but for today I'm going to use this one. I do think this is a beautiful blush shade for me. And it is actually quite glowy, so maybe I didn't even need the highlighter. But I do like to highlight the center point of my face as well, so it's alright. Now I'm going back into my bronzer. And I'm going to take a large blending brush and I'm going to use this in the crease. Because I kind of feel like using a liquid eyeshadow today. And then with a smaller brush, I'm also taking this underneath the lash line. So for today's liquid eyeshadow, I kind of want to use my Dazzle stick again. This is the one by KVD. And I think this one is just so beautiful. And it is, I have the shade Electro Bold, which is the very gold one. And this one is just so intensely foiled. But I do feel like it benefits from something in the crease. There's sort of reflex of green in this, but the base is very orangey gold. And I just feel like this is so pretty. Look at that. I really like it with this blush as well. Yes, that was a good decision. I think we're already almost done, which is good because my battery is about to die. I'll quickly add some brow gel. This is my Project Pan brow gel. I think it's nearly done. This is the Kruidvat gel. For those of you who are from the Netherlands. This is a Dutch drugstore brand. I just froze some in my brows and then I'm done. I really don't fuss with eyebrow pencils or other stuff too often. I mean, that looks pretty okay, right? Oh, this liquid eyeshadow or this cream eyeshadow is so pretty. I'm going into my Charlotte Tilbury dual-ended copper charge eyeliner because it has this copper gold side that I think matches this eye look perfectly. I feel like that adds just that little bit of completion to the look. I used a little bit underneath my eyes underneath the tear duct as well. Then I think I want to use a black mascara for contrast, and I'm going into this Dior mascara that I really didn't use that much since I tried it. This is the, what was it called? The Dior Show New Look. This has this weird tiny brush that is perfect for the lower lash line. And I do like this mascara, but it takes a little bit longer to use. But I feel like today's look is going very quickly. I do really like the way this makes my lashes look. See, it makes them look sort of wispy and airy. I really don't know how to explain it, but it looks alright. Yes, that's alright. Now we just need a nice lip color, and I'm thinking about some sort of brown, maybe this really nudie lipstick from L'Oreal, or maybe this little bit more dark brown by Essence. That could be pretty too. Or this pumpkin shade by Too Faced. This was from the holiday collection last year. I think I want to try the Essence one because I haven't been using it a lot. I think that's the theme of today's video. Yes, I think that's pretty. It bridges the eyeshadow and the blush a little bit. I do remember not really loving this formula, but I do like the color, so that's something. I think this was a good choice. By the way, this is the shade Number 2, Duck Face. Which is really not a charming name, but alright. That's it, we're already done. I'll lean in a little bit. I really like this makeup look. I really haven't been liking my makeup a lot lately because there's always something too much. And I must say the blush, it is a little bit more intense, but I do like it. And I really like the eyes. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I did. And again, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you here, and I will see you in the next one.